Hi Vinyl community, just a quick one today. Going to do another entry in the Acid Archives Diaries. Know how you love those. Today I'm going to talk about Iota and their self-titled album, which came out in 2002. Although the tracks were all recorded between 69 and 71, 72, something like that. And this came out, it's a comp basically. They did record a couple of singles in their lifetime and obviously demoed a fair few tracks as well. So this is a compilation of the stuff recorded in the lifetime of the band. And I have to say, with mixed results. It's slightly weird to be reviewing an album where at times I struggle to give you a reason to go out and listen to it. There are some really good moments on this, but in part because it's a compilation of just everything they ever recorded, I think there's bound to be some kind of not so great moments on here. So yeah, let's show you the label to start with. It's on Rockadelic Records. Fairly mundane looking label. Very little information on there in terms of who the songwriters are and that kind of thing. Although you do get quite a good band biography, as well as some photocopied band promo shots. And the band was out of El Paso, Texas, and I don't know how popular or successful they were in Texas, but they met up with this guy called, what's his name, Kenny Smith, who was a local kind of, I think, producer and record company type of a guy. And he got an offer from High Records in Memphis to go out and be the producer for the sort of white rock bands on what was essentially a black music label. You know, the label had people like Al Green and what's her name? I Can't Stand the Rain, Ann Peebles on the label. So they're obviously trying to set up a sort of white rock division. So this guy, Kenny Smith, got the call, and he decided to take Iota out to Memphis with him, which probably looked like it was going to be the real kind of leg up their career needed. While they were out there, they recorded a reasonable amount of material. I think everything that's on this record. I could be wrong, but I think so. And tried to get gigs, tried to get radio play, and apparently weren't terribly successful in either. I think radio, as always, was looking for kind of uplifting music. And Iota lyrically dealt with some fairly intense, dark themes, and that may have put the radio programmers off. I don't know. I mean, the band kind of looked the part. They looked like your typical late 60s, early 70s rock band. And they had some backing, but it just didn't happen for them. So, on to the music. The first track, Precinct, is generally regarded as the best track that they produced. Certainly the best track on this album. It starts with kind of portentous spoken word intro. It has a kind of a circular, almost clockwork feel guitar riff to it. There's plenty of Hammond organ on there. There's some fuzz guitar, and it has a kind of a progadelic feel to it, I suppose. A definite highlight. And if you want to check out the band, that is the track to go for. Although the following two tracks, Glimpses and R.I.P., both have a fair bit to offer. Glimpses has a great acid guitar solo and has a bit of an Iron Butterfly feel to it. R.I.P. has a slightly funky groove and gets a little more progressive, I guess. Then we get to the fourth track, Love Comes Wicked, and that's where it all starts to go a bit pear-shaped. It's not a bad track. It's got a shuffling groove. It's a hard rock song, but it was never going to set the world alight. The final track, Bottle Baby, is one to skip, really. It's a 60s style R&B groover with kind of fairly cheesy Jimmy Smith style Hammond organ, which just makes them sound like a band looking for a direction, or a band that's used to playing in bars and just trying to keep the punters happy. Side 2, What have we got? Sing For You. It's a fairly decent track. It's an organ-heavy groover. It could, given a ballsier production and played with a bit more passion, be reminiscent of Grand Funk Railroad, I guess. It's definitely in that kind of ballpark. Better Place, the second track on side 2, has the rhythmic sort of feel of the Doors' 5 to 1. And that's obviously a really good place to start the track. As it moves on, it becomes a bit funkier and has a kind of a James Gang feel to it. So that's a definite highlight as well. Then the third track, The Words Are True, has a slightly kind of a Cream feel to it. Cream mixed with Eddie Cochran's Summertime Blues, that kind of a thing going on. It's not bad. It's an okay track. Plenty of organ on that one, and some tasty fuzz guitar as well. Then we come to what is probably the worst track on the album, I'm Gonna Be a Man. And it's basically a bog standard, soulful, bar band, cheesy organ track. Again, that Jimmy Smith organ sound, which I hate. Hammond organ should be played like John Lord plays it, not like something from the End of the Pier. So yeah, that is one to skip. And it doesn't get any better with the final track because it just doesn't sound like it belongs on here. It's called Our Love So Warm, and it sounds like they're trying to be 1963 Beatles. I love 1963 Beatles, but not when it's a kind of a late 60s, early 70s, hard rock, progressive, post-psychedelic kind of a band. It just doesn't quite fit in, and I wonder if it was recorded well before the other tracks, perhaps before they went to Memphis. I don't know. So yeah, it's a tough one to recommend. Out of the 10 tracks on here, I'd say 5 are really good, or at least have a lot of promise. Precincts is the one to really look out for. That's a really decent track. What does the Acid Archives say about it? Let's have a look. Memory serves me right, I don't think they went too big on it either. Okay. Iota, El Paso, Texas. Okay, so yeah, the only vinyl issue is this Rockadelic issue, which came out in 2002. I don't know whether I mentioned there were only 600 copies of that press, so it's a rarity. Whether there's much demand for it, I don't know. Maybe a difficult one to pick up, but certainly sample it online first. It also had a CD reissue the following year, 2003, on Shadox. Okay, so they say 1969 to 72 recordings from an El Paso band who moved to Memphis mid-career. Their best track within these precincts, which is called Precincts on the album, came out on 45 back in 1971 and has been comped. The rest is competent, but to my ears, unexceptional fuzz and Hammond club band hard rock with funk moves. The best tracks are covers of 2 numbers from the earlier I Love You Gorgo sampler, which had been released by the same management team that handled Iota. All 4 45 sides by Iota are included. The packaging is nice, although the fantasy front sleeve sends out a very different vibe from the sounds inside. So yeah, a couple of things there. Clearly, some of the tracks on here weren't written by, I think Carl Near, the bass player and singer, was the main songwriter. So it sounds like some of the tracks were actually ones written by artists on their manager's roster, and they re-recorded those tracks. And the artwork, yeah, it was the artwork that drew me in. I've had this a few years, can't remember where I got it. I think I bought it online, and it will almost certainly be in the artwork that drew me in, and a sort of a brief read of a review somewhere. But I guess I was expecting it to be more proto-progressive music or harder rock. That's certainly the impression that artwork gives. But no, definitely a bit misleading. Don't want to damp with faint praise. There are some really good moments on here. Check out Precincts. Otherwise, probably best hanging on to your money for something else. But an interesting curio of the time. That's it for now. I'll see you again soon for another video. Take care.